everyone, and we're glad you can make it here today. This is one of the benefits of having things virtual. It doesn't matter what the weather is, right? We can all join in on this. So I am Marla Fishman, and I'm one of the organizers of the event. You met Natalie Liakova, who is an organizer of the event, and I'll share more about her and the group that sponsors this at the end. And some of you have talked with Barbara Usack, and she is the facilitator for this workshop. So, and you are in good hands with Barbara. I can speak from personal experience and just knowing a bit about her background. Barbara is a former, she has a lot of experience in training and facilitation. She's great with people. She is, we are both members of a networking group, PSGCNJ, and she is the former training director of the training committee. And she just has had a life of service. She has a background in public health and is all about creating work environments that are friendly and collaborative and trusting. And that's all very relevant as we talk about Kanban, which is an Agile tool, because that all relates to Agile. That is part of having an Agile work environment. So I'm excited to see what she's going to share with us today. So I'm just going to take a quick minute and just give you an overview of the program so you know what to expect. And then we will get started. So we're going to start, I'm just going to take a few minutes and talk about Agile because Kanban board is an Agile tool. So just to provide some context, because this, I don't know how many people have, it's kind of a buzzword now, all these companies are going Agile. So it's just good to be familiar with the terms and things like that and the role of Kanban in Agile. And then Natalie is going to take a few minutes and talk about why we use a Kanban board in our job search. And then we're going to get into the meat of it because Barbara's going to take us through some practical exercises and actually going to show us how to set up on Trello, how to set up a Kanban board for tracking job applications and how to manage it. And she's going to go into a lot of detail on that. We'll come back while we are kind of all regroup in a sense to kind of share key takeaways. And then Natalie is going to lead a discussion and then we'll close. And so this is going to be an hour session. So great. So what is Agile? I don't know. Can I get a sense, a show of hands of people who are familiar with Agile? I'm not. I see Natalie. I see Mark. Barbara's shaking her head no. Tom's kind of no. Great. Okay. So this is going to be a real quick kind of mini lightning talk version of Agile, but hopefully it'll pique your interest to explore it and know more. It's something I've learned through training and certification classes I took, and I've become a fan of Agile. So Agile has its origins in software development, but it has extended to multiple industries as companies are aware that in order to be able to cope, manage, and succeed in these kind of turbulent, rapidly changing environments, digital environments, customer-driven environments, a lot of M&A activity, internal changes, they need to be agile. And so different companies are adopting this in different ways. But just for context, I mentioned it has its origins in software development. In 2001, in February, 17 people in various aspects of software development came together to try and make the software development process better. It was very kind of heavyweight, a lot of documentation, a lot of work with the customer in terms of requirements gathering up front, and then going through a really long process, and then delivering a final product at the end. And they wanted to look at how can we make this more agile? How can we make this more about people? What does a workplace look like that is agile, where we are really leveraging the talents of the people who are delivering the work? And we are able to have more agility and be more quickly responsive to customer needs and customer feedback. And so they created this Agile manifesto, and it's not a process and it's not a prescriptive thing. It's really guidance for an Agile mindset. And an Agile mindset has a lot of components, but key elements are this idea of collaboration, this team collaboration where you have a cross-functional self-managing team, collaboration with the customer throughout the process, as well as embracing change is a big aspect of Agile. So in the kind of previous model, companies didn't want change, right? Because change meant cost, right? Change to scope, change to different things meant extra cost. So they resisted change. Agile embraces change because it means that it's a way to drive improvement. It's a way to truly deliver value to the customer. And that's also a part of it. It's very focused on giving something that's actually of value to the customer. So the Agile approach is iterative and incremental. It's about working within these short, like 2, 3, or 4 week fixed length time boxes within which you are delivering small components of value to the customer. So it's this iterative process where you're constantly building on what you're creating rather than waiting to the very end to deliver one final product. And the customer is a collaborative partner throughout the process. And what you see with these short iterations is because they're so short, if anything needs to be changed, it's at a minimal cost because you've only gone for like 2 weeks before you're getting the customer's feedback. And so you can decide after those 2 weeks, do we pivot or do we persevere based on the feedback? And so you're truly delivering what's of value to the customer. It also provides a very collaborative environment, and you do just enough planning. And it also allows you to quickly shift priorities with each iteration. So I'm going to share my screen real quickly. And how does the Kanban board fit in this? Whoops, excuse me. Let me just pull this up. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, so let me. Okay, so this is an example of a Kanban board. So a Kanban board is an Agile project management tool, and it is a way to visualize the work of the team. It's a way to reduce this width, right? Limit the width, the work in progress that is not being completed. And it's a way to provide transparency, and it actually ends up being a very collaborative tool. And so all the work items, and it's very simple, right? You can see that this, and they can have different degrees of complexity depending on what the needs of the team are. But this is just one example, and so you have your backlog of different priorities, customer priorities, whether that customer is internal or external. And these represent cards. So these are work items that you are going to do, and everyone can see the flow of the work. And so if something is stuck, if something is not moving, it's very visible to see, and it allows you to quickly respond to something not moving and address whatever issue there may be, so you can continue to move it through the process to done. And so to do shows what the team is working on, in progress, and then done is when it's delivered to the customer and they're able to review it and actually work with it. And you can see here, these are width limits. This is saying there can never be more for this team, what's appropriate. There can never be more, and I want to keep an eye on the time. There can never be more than, I should wrap up. There can never be more than 3 items in to do, and there can never be more than 2 items in progress, because this is a way that if this isn't getting done, then you need to address it and move it rather than take on more work and have like a backlog of work. So that, and I'll just say one more. Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm
go ahead,
sorry,
Barbara.
Marla, those limits are user defined, right? So
they're user defined. The team determines.
In the team, the boss would do. Okay.
Actually, it's a self-managing team. So that as a team, there isn't one person who decides. As a team, they decide what do we need to do to have the greatest efficiency in moving, having an efficient workflow of the product. So I will, hopefully that gives you some sense of, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, of Agile, where the Kanban board fits, fits within Agile. And with that, Natalie, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, so now what I suggest we do is let's take a look from another angle at, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it is part of the presentation I showed earlier to some other group. If you are interested to know more about this presentation, to see the full presentation, let me know. Maybe we will also include it in the resources we provide after this workshop. This part of presentation tells about what are two most important things as a job seeker you need to be aware of. Your career roadmap, so to say, and also how you spend your time. The whole talk I gave earlier, it spoke about both parts, but right now I'm going to show you what relates to your career roadmap. And by that, what I mean is the job search funnel, so to say. You start looking for a job through job boards, networking, and so on. Then you find jobs that look attractive to you. Then you prepare to apply for each one. Then you apply. Then you get invited to interviews, to more than one interview in many cases. And then you are presented with an offer. So this is your job search funnel. And of course, it's self-evident. So now what I want to show you is, what if this funnel is not vertical, but horizontal rather? When it becomes horizontal, the same job search funnel, this is where we can see how we can use Kanban boards. Each stage in the funnel becomes a column in your Kanban board. Just as Marla just showed us, this is what we have. The first column is our qualified leads. And the cards here, as Marla was telling us about to-do items, in our case, each to-do item is each separate job application. Let's say with the qualified leads right now, what I see is I have applied for a project manager position in the company called Onward Search, and where, based on the research I've done, I expect the salary to be around this, around 90,000. And I also not applied. This is a job that I want to apply. I also want to apply for the second one, project manager one. Then the next one is my column showing what job applications I currently have in the preparing to apply stage. And this stage, you probably know already, it takes you a while. You need to tailor your resume, you need to do thorough research of the company. So this column shows all the applications that currently I'm working on. So it is like in progress. The next one is positions that I have applied for. Then the next one is I have been invited to interview, so I'm actively interviewing currently with this company. Then I can also use a column where I'm putting my cards that did not really work. And then the ideal one is the offer received. And my job applications will move from the left to the right as they progress. Some systems can also allow you to schedule activities. So right here in this system, I can see that for the customer experience manager role, I have a follow-up due. And in this example, I'm showing my CRM system, which has this Kanban board capability or feature. So Kanban is not an application itself. It is a feature that can be part of various applications. And Barbara will show us in a moment Kanban board as a feature of an application called Trello. So this is everything I wanted to show. If you need to take a screenshot or something, take it right now, but we will also provide the recording after the meeting. So I'll stop sharing right now, and back to you, Marla.
Great. So actually, I want to make one comment before we go to Barbara. And I noticed some people started doing it. We definitely want this also to be an opportunity for everyone to connect with each other. And so you've seen a couple people do it. You can see an example of how they've done it. It's a chance for you to put kind of your mini elevator pitch, or, you know, if you don't have that ready for today, you can just put the URL to your LinkedIn profile, your email address. And we just really encourage everyone to connect. So it's a chance to really network with each other, get to know each other. So, you know, we can all help each other. And I will be putting links in for the LinkedIn profiles for Barbara, Natalie, and myself. So I just wanted to share that.
And don't forget to download the chat before you leave.
Yes, we will.
Save the chat.
And I'll remind you as well, but yes, please. But, great. So now we'll go to Barbara, and Barbara's going to kind of lead us into the practical exercises and hands-on activity, looking at Trello as a digital Kanban board.
So do you want to spend maybe 3 minutes do you guys have any questions on the theoretical part, on what Agile is, what Kanban board is, what the job funnel is, or we're ready to proceed with the practical exercises?
I just have a quick question about Trello. Is this a free application, or does it require a subscription fee?
Just like almost anything out there, there's a free version and
Okay.
then there's a paid version.
Okay.
I believe you have to give them your credit card. We were talking about this morning. So I'm sure that I did that, but I've had it for at least 3 months. I think I've had it 3 months now, but I have the free version. I've never been charged for anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just add, I think what you do is you put your credit card in and you get the free 30-day trial, but then cancel the trial and just go to the free version so they don't charge your card.
And like anything else, when you pay for a version, you get more things. I never used any of those more things in my free version because I knew I wasn't going to pay for it. So I didn't want to start using something that I wasn't going to be able to keep. So I just stayed with what they offered.
Okay, then I guess if there are no questions.
What are a couple of?
Go ahead, Kishan.
I was going to ask, what are some situations?
I think he froze.
Everybody's on the Agile, so I'm wondering if there are any exceptions.
So can you repeat the question again?
So the question is, what are some situations, industries where the Agile approach is not used?
So that's an excellent question. And there are industries where it's not necessarily appropriate. So at least for delivering the product to the customer. So in probably like the automobile industry, or if you are
building a bridge, if you are building a bridge, you cannot build some version of a bridge, then validate it, and then build another version. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Safety, hitting certain government or industry regulations and requirements like that would require all of that requirements gathering and making sure you are hitting every single thing. So there are industries, you're right, where it's not appropriate. What I would say is even in the industries where it may not be appropriate for the product that goes to the quote unquote end customer, if you do have internal customers, you know, your marketing team could be your internal customer. And so if you're working with the marketing team on, you know, revamping the website or building a website, that could be a project and you could apply Agile to that. But that's an excellent question. Thank you.
One of the ways that I look at it is there's a lot of different tools for different things. You can have a list of to-dos. You can have an Excel spreadsheet where you track things. This is really for your workflow from beginning to end. I have my get to do, doing, and done. You know, that's kind of the workflow. So that's where this is really valuable, but you can also do your lists within it and things like that. You'll see that in a minute.
Okay, so let's go with the practical part.
Okay, let me share my screen. So Now, Ryan, you're
Yes.
seeing my, wait, are you seeing my screen? Are
Yeah,
you,
I'm seeing your screen.
are you, oh, okay, wait. I think I shared the wrong screen. Stop share. What do you guys see?
When you did that, I saw your screen, and where I was, you were.
Okay, yeah, so you weren't supposed to see that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me share the right screen. There we go. Got it.
Perfect.
Oh, it's not highlighted. That's strange. Usually it's highlighted when I share. Okay, so you can see where it says Trello board not found, right? That's what you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay, so Ryan, if the shared screen is in full screen, you should be able to not completely minimize, it'll go away, but you can make it smaller and then put your window next to it, just if it's not maximized. That's the question that you had earlier.
Oh, okay. No, don't worry about it. It's all good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay.
I'm
So
learning.
if anybody wants to work along, which is highly advised, you would just, make the shared screen smaller so that you can work on your browser next to it. Okay, so like Natalie was saying, and everybody was saying, we have the whole job search funnel here. So we need to start by creating a board. So once you're in Trello, I can't go to where you are because I'm already in and I have boards. So I'm just going to go where I can create a board. And I'm not starting with a template. You can certainly do that.
Meanwhile, can I have a question? Everyone is talking about downloading Trello, but why do you need to download when it works quite well in your browser? With browser, you don't need to download anything really.
Yeah, it's on the cloud. Then you have access to it from your phone if you want to. I can create a Trello card right here when I'm working on something else because it's in my Chrome list here. So I don't even have to open Trello and I can create a card.
Yeah, but these are advanced features. Let's start with the basics.
Yeah, but
right?
that's why you don't want it. You want it to be
in the browser.
Mm-hmm. Also, when I joined, you didn't have to be a team, and it has since switched to teams. So you may have to create a team, and you're the team of one. You are your own team. So has everybody started creating a board?
Yeah.
Okay, and here's another thing. I'm not doing all the work. This is interactive. So you guys gotta,
how about someone who is currently opening their Trello? Maybe you guys want to share your screen to show how the sign-in process works, or whatnot. Or Barbara, what's the plan?
If somebody would like to do that, that would be great. And also, if everybody wants to stay unmuted, unless you've got a lot going on in the background, that way we can kind of have a conversation.
Right.
Because I'd like to have this interactive.
So Ryan is showing us.
So we can't share our screen if someone else is sharing their screen.
Right.
Right. So if somebody wants to share, I'll stop sharing.
Okay, I'll share mine. Mine's really simple.
Okay.
I pulled it. There we go. Here.
Okay, right. we see your phone. Is it phone, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to. It's letting me do a screen broadcast, but it's not letting me see what I'm actually sharing.
I've got dual monitors. I can share. This is Mark. I can share my screen, and I haven't created an account yet. So if
yeah, that would be perfect. That would be perfect, Mark.
Okay.
Thanks for trying, Ryan.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
That's okay.
There we go.
Okay, share screen.
I already had some people add me on LinkedIn, so that's awesome. I'm happy you guys want to connect. Looking forward to that.
I'm happy to connect with everybody. We'll get my information in there.
So excellent. We can see your screen, Mark.
Okay, so It looks like I'm trying to create an account right now.
Hmm?
I haven't actually created the account. It asked me for, my email address and password, and I clicked OK, and that brought me to this screen.
And on the right, you have to choose which account you will use, right? If it's Google.
If I'm going with Google, yeah. So
Yeah,
I'll go with
mhm.
this. Okay, so it's asking me to
This is
name
what
my
this
team.
is. Yeah, this is what Barbara mentioned. You are your team. You can just as well call your team Mark. Or Mark's team. Team Mark. Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Go with other. Just go with other because it's not a business.
Okay. Do I want to add anyone else?
No need. No need for
need.
that. Mhm.
Okay.
Free team.
Free team.
Teams.
Yeah, so you don't have to choose anything, but because down below it says start 30-day free trial. So that's what you're doing.
And then it's asking me to put my credit card in, which
Right. At this point, I do believe you have to do that. And obviously we don't want you sharing that on your
Start without business class. Do you see at the very bottom? At the very bottom of this window, yeah.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even
Ah.
see that.
That's
Very
right.
nice.
Of course, it's in their interest to hide this.
Right.
Okay, let's go.
Thanks for Team Mark.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay,
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
you're doing
Mhm.
this.
All
So
right.
this is how we set it up. Is it, Barbara?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can click on the number 2 where it says add a board, but to the left, you've got boards.
Boards, yeah, the very first one. Or
Okay, so you want to create a new one.
We want to create a Kanban template.
Nope, you don't want to use a template.
Oh, I see.
You can
Okay.
mess around with the templates, but we don't want it to start. So all the way right underneath that, you have your boards, create one.
Okay. And
Now, what do you want to call this?
let's call it job applications if it
Yep,
is the
This
purpose.
is your board.
well, that sounds good enough to me.
Okay.
Let's go with
You can pick a
just
background
something
color.
easy
Yep.
and plain create
Create
board.
it.
Okay.
Oh, wow. When I do that, I don't even get anything. All right, so it already gave you 3 lists. What? Oh, I can't share it. Remember Natalie's job search funnel? So the first one that says to do, you're just going to click where it says to do, and you're going to change that. And so I believe we're starting with qualified leads.
Yeah, let's start with
We've
that.
already got the job opportunities search is already done. So you've got your qualified leads.
Okay.
Okay, now go to the next one. And what comes after that? Anybody remember?
Applications.
Prepare to apply.
Okay.
Okay, the next one would be apply. Okay, so add another one.
What exactly is in the prepare to apply
Yeah, so
category?
prepare to apply is when you work or to tailor your resume, you do research of the for the company. Apply, I would rather change to applied. Like the applications where you submitted,
Okay.
move here until you get invited to interviews.
And
Yeah.
we'll go through some of that stuff when we're moving through the cards, and you'll see how it works. And then you've got your interviews.
Interviewing, right? Currently interviewing with this company. So you can name it whatever, but the meaning is you're currently interviewing with them.
Well, I thought that there was a card for first interviews and then X amount of interviews after that.
I guess you can create multiple cards, but actually you will probably remember, unless you will have hundreds of those. You will remember which interview is that. It's the
Yeah,
first interview or consecutive.
When we create the cards, you can see how to manage it even in there. So interviewing is fine.
Okay.
For now. And you can always go in and add and delete and things like that.
You did not save that one. Interviewing.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the last one is offer. In Natalie's
Offer, yeah.
job.
And then I also tend to create a column for like lost or no response, because there are also applications that you have lost any hope. Let's just move them so that they are out of the picture, kind of, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now go back to the very beginning where it says qualified leads. You might have to scroll over a little bit. There you go. And now we're going to add a card. So this, all right, before we go any further, when you're setting up something like this, you have to figure out how your process works. So with a qualified lead, at this point, is that a company and a job title? So, you know, we can just make something up. Pick a company and a job title, or a job title and a company, whichever you would look at first.
Yeah, but maybe Mark, you have something in mind, some companies that you think of applying to, but you have not yet started the process. Anything comes to your mind?
Honestly, no. Any company that I could think of, I've already applied.
Yeah.
But this one in particular, I just got a rejection letter from them today. So.
Oh, perfect. So we can go through the whole process.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So add a card.
Yep.
Add card. All right. Now go back to Itron and click on it. Okay. So there's your card. This is where you keep everything related to this particular job.
Okay.
So in the job description, one of the more advanced features I saw was you can put a list in there, and there is a way to format it, but for now you're not going to. Just a list of like the contact name, job description, whatever you want to keep in here. So just type something in here for the job description, but this is where you can keep the contact information because that's always at the top. One of the templates that I saw would say contact : you don't have to do this, and then the name. And then that way you can, every card will be formatted the same way because you can turn that into a template for your cards. So each card will have it in the same order, so it's easy for you to keep going back to it and not have to look for things. Okay.
How would you do that? Make template down here?
We're not doing that now.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know that can be done. There's so much that can be done, and we don't have much time. So save your description. Okay.
Okay.
Let's add a checklist. So to the right on to add to card, we have members. We're not adding any members. So let's call this to do. Okay. Let's call it to do.
Okay.
And then add that. Now go back to checklist and add another one. And add, just title it contacts. Again, you're gonna change all this to work for you, but I want to show you that you can use two different lists. And if you click and drag contacts, you can move it above to do. So everything's fully functional. You can use the checklists for more than just a checklist. You can use it to organize whatever it is that you need to organize within the Trello card. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So, and the same thing goes, why don't you add a couple of items to your to-do list? Because you've already done this, right? So add a couple of things to your to-do list.
Okay.
Add an item. Yeah.
Things like what? Like a thank you letter or like a follow-up?
Well, yeah, anything you want to do, because he's been through the process, but we're going to show how you move through the process.
If part of the process was like you needed to tailor your resume, maybe you can put this as a to-do item, tailor my resume. Just a quick question, Marla, how are we doing in terms of time?
That's a great question. So we are at 1:42, and this was scheduled for an hour. So
we have about 12 minutes and then 5 minutes for the closing announcements, things like that, right?
Okay. So
yeah, we can just take a couple minutes for the closing.
Okay.
So now
about 15 minutes, Barbara.
All right, click on, yeah, go ahead, add. Now just click on follow up to show that that's done. There you go. Now, I also wanted to show you to the right, add to card, we have due date. So you can put a due date in there underneath, all the way to the right where it says add to card. Oh, I'm sorry,
Uh,
all the way to the right.
Due date. I
There you
gotcha.
go.
All right.
Okay, so pick yesterday. Okay. And then label.
Do you
you
need
can-
to
you can
scroll
label
down to save?
Yeah, let's save this.
How do you
It
save?
automatically saves.
Okay.
Close this card. Now, if you look on your Itron Project Manager, it tells you the date that you had something due, and it's red because it's overdue.
Mhm.
And it shows you that there's lines. That means there's something in your description, and it shows that 4 out of 4 of your checklist items are done. So you can see that without even opening your card. Now, take that card and drag it over to prepare to apply. Yep. That's it. And then you work on it there, and you finish the checklist. You add more things. Now you've applied. Move it over to the applied section. See, this is your workflow.
If
So
you need to work with this, you what, double click and it opens?
I think even one click will do it.
Double click works. One
And
click
one
works
click
as well.
works. Mhm.
This is amazing.
Yeah. So I have several different boards that I'm currently using. With the free version, you can have 10 boards.
So I guess basically we've seen how it works with Mark's window. So maybe now Barbara can show us some more advanced stuff. And if you guys see Barbara's Trello, it is more like a newspaper because there is so much information, but it's nice. So how about Barbara?
Okay.
You show us your screen.
All right, so I'll go ahead and stop my share.
Yeah, so Mark, you get the point, right? As you proceed along the process, you just move your cards to the right and update them as necessary. Now let's see for some advanced stuff, really.
Okay, so everybody can see it now? Mine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to get out of there. Okay, so here's the home. That's going to take me. Am I not signed in? I am signed in. Okay, my boards. Here are all the boards that I currently have. My job applications, I haven't really been applying and I haven't really been using this, but so I had to do a work in progress, a done and apply. So I wasn't really using this. You can change your backgrounds, which to me makes it much easier to see which board I'm working in. This is, don't get dizzy. I'm a very visual person. This is my job search board. So each one of these are a card. And I have, this is what I'm doing today. This is what I have to do this week. This is what I'm going to do this month or later on. So I move them to the left. When it's done, I throw it over here. So I go kind of backwards. So what I'm working on is right in front of me.
So you can move,
done out of the way.
Barbara, you can easily move one to another column. Is it just click and drag?
Yep. You click and drag and it goes anywhere you want it to.
Okay,
You can also
awesome.
move you can also move your columns.
Wow.
You can also copy your list or move your list. I can move this list to a different board. So there's so many different things that you can do with this. If you guys want to know more and Natalie's okay with it, we can, when everybody has a board running and they want to do more stuff, we can figure out what you guys, want to use. But for instance, let me find something with a checklist.
So that's a good idea, actually. That was part of what we wanted to do, Marla, right? So maybe it's a good time now to discuss. We have some potential topics for our next meeting in, when is it going to happen? We can also take a look at it.
January.
So we have a few items we wanted to ask you guys which of those would be of interest to you for the next workshop, but we can also devote half or some part of that workshop, the next one, to review if you have started using Trello, if you have got any questions. So maybe we can review like the homework and like people, students do in classes, review the homework and then see some new material. So how about maybe Marla now can, and thank you, Barbara, we've seen your fascinating Trello board, really. It's
Yeah, see,
fascinating.
these right here, this is what the cards look like. Because I'm visual, I add pictures to them to make it easier, because you can add you can add your resume of the resume that you send, you can put here. You can paste, you can attach the job description. When you open up a card, you can, there's attachments. Where's the attachment?
So you can really organize if you're applying to, you know, 10, 15, 20 jobs, you can organize it by job description, a picture of the company's logo, maybe with the company name. You can organize it by salary. You can organize it by, you know, remote versus non-remote. So I feel I'm thinking of things I can do to use this with. It's simply the property of dragging around and copying and stuff. And it sounds like Barbara's kind of figured out the best way for her to do it.
For
so
me,
I'd be
exactly.
fascinated to hear more about how she likes to run it as well in the future.
And then there's also labels. So I can add labels to it. Right here, this one says apply, but I can add a red label, or I can say that label says now. And so I can create labels for everything. If you want to have, let's say there's only 3 companies you're applying to, but there's 10 different jobs, or vice versa, you can have labels for the companies. So you can see everything I'm applying for is in this company, or everything that I'm applying for is in this, what do you call it? With this job title. You know, you can organize it however you want to. It just depends on what's important to you.
Fascinating.
Does it send you notifications like through email or a calendar?
Okay, I happened, power-ups are add-ons. You get 1 power-up for the free version, so I happen to choose the calendar option. So I do have a calendar, so all of the due dates show up on the calendar. I haven't been using it.
Oh, wow.
So job search. All right, so how do I get to the calendar?
I'm doing mine simply now. I'm just doing a weekly to-do list, but I could see it becoming such a beneficial tool to use for many more sectors and segments of my life than just my to-do list.
I have my personal stuff on here too.
Yeah.
These are all my personal things that I'm dealing with.
Yeah, you can have multiple boards for your professional job applications, for other stuff. So we do have 8-9 minutes left, and I want us to stay within time. So maybe Barbara, if you can, in let's say 3 minutes, give the microphone back to Marla, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. What would you like me to do for the last 3 minutes?
Whatever. If there is something else you want to show, just be sure that those 3 minutes is something you have available.
The calendar is up here because I have it. Butler is for automations. I haven't used any of the Butler automations, but if you do something repeatedly, it's like a macro. You get, I think, 50 Butler. So that I haven't used, but this is the calendar view. So this will show you, you know, what I have going on today, that I have dated for today. I'm not really using the dates for too much of the stuff. Okay, so for the last 3 minutes, this went faster than I expected. So I feel like everybody might be kind of confused right now. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes. Hello, Barbara. Firstly, thank you. This is very helpful. And my name is Kishan. My question is, are you using Trello for a lot more than just a job search to replace a to-do app or a paper list? What else are you doing with it?
Yeah, basically, I'm trying to keep my entire job search here to make it easier. I use another tool as a CRM to track all of my applications and stuff in the past. One of the things that you can do here is you can link cards together. I haven't used that yet. So for instance, if you have a card for a business and a card for the job, you can link that job to that business. There's a way to do that. So like I said, this has a lot of potential. I use a lot more than I can show you in one and maybe even two presentations, but there's most of it I don't even use.
So Barbara, I have a quick question. It's
Yeah,
just,
please.
it sounds like Keishan, you were like outside of job applications. You're wondering what other applications
Yeah.
she uses it
Well,
for.
for instance,
Yes.
I had a list of the job titles that I was interested in. These are jobs that I wanted to look into. These are ones that I was excited about. These are the, I don't know, I need to look into that more. These are jobs that I wanted nothing to do with. Sales, right on top. If I wanted to put sales on the bottom, I drag it, but you just move the cards
Right.
wherever you want to. So these were different resources that I've used, and I have the links here.
What are the other boards that you have, like outside of job hunting?
So
What?
my only other one outside of job hunting is my personal board. One of the other things that I wanted to show you too, which kind of makes things easy to do. Let's go back to my job search.
Can I ask real quick, just to get in your personal, is that like pay bills, take the cat to the vet?
A lot of,
you don't have to show us, but I mean,
yes,
category
sometimes,
wise.
yes, I use a calendar. I use my Google Calendar for the vet and things like that. But these are things that I have to pay. They're high priority because I haven't taken care of that. These are done. I took care of all of these things. They're all done. So normally if I'm looking at the view, I wouldn't even look at the stuff that's done. I would just push it out of the way, which is why I keep the done on the left, because it's easy to move it just over there. But like things that need, like here, what do we have? The OneDrive setup. I had some information and I wanted to keep that information. So rather than putting on a typical to-do list, I can add the attachment right in here. And I've got that image right in here. And then I've got my checklist in my file organization. These are all of the things that I need to do to organize, because I'm going to be moving everything to OneDrive.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, guys. We have 4 minutes left actually, and we need to decide to do some polling right now on which topics can be of interest to you guys for the next meeting. It may be the continuation of this one just as well, why not? But let's discuss this. Can maybe Marla, you share your screen if you have those in front of you. So Barbara, is it your screen? Okay, so
That's Marla's.
It's my screen.
And to continue with the Trello, it can be also just another one here as an option.
Oops. Sorry.
So what do you guys, looking at what you see in front of you, which would be, these are the topics that we are kind of more or less ready to go with for the next workshop. We have much more in the backlog, but these are the things that we're very much ready to go with. So which would be of interest to you looking at what you see on the screen? How are you planning to use this? Putting names, who votes for what, or what, Marla?
I think we were thinking we might have a little more time. So we were just going to capture thoughts that people had about the topics, but maybe it is just like a tally.
Let's just
I see
vote,
my
yeah.
screen. Yeah, so if you
Let's
can,
just
because I can't see them, if you can tell me.
Yeah, we can see all of them. Yeah, so the first one is CRM. We can go over a CRM system to show some basics, some features that are a part of every CRM system. And then we can talk a little bit why, like, what about the Salesforce that makes it so popular nowadays? Almost every company is on Salesforce. Productivity tools, Trello is one of them. We can also talk about some other tools for remote collaboration and being productive. Remote collaboration is a separate one where we can talk about what tools companies and teams use for remote collaboration. nowadays. Then we can talk about interesting plugin to LinkedIn, which is called Career Explorer. It helps you to show, to find jobs that can be a good fit for your skills. Then we can also see how you can use brainstorming, how you can do brainstorming as a team using mind map tools. And then we can also continue with Trello. So can we quickly vote? We only have 2 minutes left. Can we vote and put maybe some signs under which topic is of interest? So Barbara, let's put Marla, I suggest CRM, LinkedIn Career Explorer, mind maps, and more Trello. So Barbara says this one, then LinkedIn, Trello, and what was the third one, the fourth one?
I've worked on the, yeah, I've done that as well.
Mind maps?
Mind maps, yeah.
Mind maps. Okay, what do you guys, Kishan, what would be your choice? CRM, mind maps, Trello. Okay, so CRM, mind maps, and Trello.
I'm interested in remote collaboration.
Yeah.
If there's an angle there as to what companies are using today. So if we're in the job
Okay.
market, we should have awareness of what
Exactly,
companies are using.
exactly.
I agree.
That's the purpose.
Put me up
So,
there.
okay. I guess, yeah, guys, you figured it out yourselves. You are putting your suggestions in the chat, and then Marla will just process them and we'll put them here after we are finished with the meeting, because it's in 1 minute. And then we do have your email addresses to communicate to you the topic of our next meeting, I guess, right?
Well, we have, those of you on Meetup, we don't have your Meetup, we don't have your email addresses, but we are able to communicate with you through Meetup. So if you want to put your email address in the chat, that would be great. And those of you who registered through the LinkedIn post, we do have your emails. So.
Okay, so the next meeting, the next workshop will be at this same time. What's the date, Marla?
January 13th.
January 13th. So until then, we're staying in touch over other means of communication, and everyone is highly welcome here for the topic that we will choose together as a group. We will vote for. Okay.
And I just want to remind everyone, and I see Barbara, I'll get you to download the chat. And if you don't know how to do that, you just open up chat and you'll see the 3 dots. Click on that, save it to your folder. You can open it in your folder.
And Marla, you put my contact information in there, or do I need to do that?
I did.
Marla
Okay,
did.
thank you.
Thank you. Then we're done. In the communication, we will also send the link to this recording when it's uploaded to YouTube. Okay.
I highly recommend definitely organizing your career search before you build it, although you can switch things up. You see how easy it is to move it. There are a lot of, if you do as a Google search for Trello templates, job search templates, you know, they'll come up. I have some links. If anybody wants me to send some links and a little bit of information that I have as a Word document, I'm happy to do that. If the vote is yes, I'll just send it to everybody that was here.
I guess you can do that. I guess you can do that, Barbara. Yeah. So in the communication, we will discuss together with Marla how we do this communication. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I really want us to be very precise on time because this is what companies also require everyone to be able to stick with the timeline. So this is also one of the skills we all need to learn. Thank you so much for coming here and for your active participation.